What up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, Project 550. My name is Sunny. Thank you guys for stopping by. If this is your first time coming in, I appreciate you checking me out. If you're returning, I appreciate you as well. But if this is your first time, this is the third video in like a 4-part series. So I urge you to go back and check out 1 and 2. But before we get into this video, if I could get you guys to do me a huge favor, if I could get you guys to head over and hit that like button, same with the subscribe, and then leave a comment and share with everybody you know, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Now, video 3. I wanted to talk about the rest of my family, my children, for starters, who by no means have escaped the outcomes of my morbid obesity or food addiction in any way. I have 3 children. 2 of them are adults, gone and doing their thing, and 1 that is about to be an adult. And so they've had to also endure and suffer the outcomes of food addiction. I by no means have been remotely close to the best father that I could be for my children, and primarily because of my addictions. My kids didn't really get to witness much of my drug addiction days, if any. I guess there was a period when I struggled with pain pills after my car accident, and they got to witness that to a degree, but we kind of really tried to shelter them from it, but they're not stupid. They see what's going on. But as far as the bulk of what they've had to endure, it was the outcomes and struggles and adversities of food addiction and morbid obesity, which are similar, like I've said, and I'm going to continue to say, astoundingly similar to the outcomes and struggles and adversities of any of the other major drug choices or addictions that I've overcame or battled or succumbed to or whatever. And none of them certainly signed up for it, not even a little bit. You know, the idea that I have as a father is somebody who is there for their children, that actively participates in their life in the home and outside of the home. And what I mean by that is throughout school, they have opportunities to engage in sports and activities and field trips and things like that. And as a parent, I think it's your duty and responsibility to engage and interact with those opportunities every chance that you get and encourage those activities and opportunities every chance that you get. But when you're a drug addict or fighting or struggling with addiction, and let's just talk about the other addictions outside of food, drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling, whatever, you end up going to prison. You're not taking your kids to those functions, and you're not there for them. They probably don't even get to see you most of the time unless they come visit you. And then if you are in their life and you're strung out or you're drunk all the time, same thing that I spoke about in my last video. They get the looks and the sneers and the comments from their peers that are unwarranted and unfair and not cool. And again, just like my wife, not a single one of my kids ever said or did anything to entertain any of those behaviors from other people or make me aware that they were there. I knew that they were there because I was a kid myself. And I understand what those looks look like. And I understand when my kids only want to go to the store when mama goes to the store. But if dad goes to the store, all of a sudden, they don't ever want to go to Walmart. And that's because dad has to ride the buggy through Walmart. And most of dad hangs over the side of the buggy. And I'm not saying that to be a jerk. I'm just saying that because when you visualize that and you see a group of your child's friends over there and they won't even come and talk to their friend and your child is putting their head down, you know what time it is. You know that they're giving them looks and stares and your child is embarrassed. And that's not their fault. It's my fault for them having to even be put in that position. And God forbid one of those kids said something. My kids are the type of kids that would flash on them in a heartbeat. And my wife is too, and I've seen her do it. I mean, there was a time in the store when a lady had said something to me and my wife, or said something behind my back about something I did, or she was just out of pocket and she made a comment about me being overweight in the Walmart buggy, and my wife put her into jail. But again, my children didn't deserve that. You know, I wanted to take my child to Taekwondo, but I couldn't. My wife had to do it. Thank God for my wife. I wanted to be there at the soccer games, but I couldn't do it. The best I could do was sit in the car while mom took her out to the soccer field and did her thing. The best I could do is sit in the car while mom took her into the tournament at the Taekwondo to do her thing. The best I could do was hear the stories about what happened at vacation Bible school or Bible camp or whatever, rather than being a chaperone or a participant parent. We got to hear the stories when they came home. Certain birthday parties or family functions, we weren't always invited or able to go, for that matter. A lot of times it's like, well, we could invite the Colemans, but where's Sonny going to sit? You know what I'm saying? Or he can't get to the picnic area where we're having the function at. So we can't invite him, because what are we going to do? Like, is he going to sit in the car? So, they don't want to be rude. And so they just don't invite. And so the kids miss out. And I'm not blaming them or saying anybody's a bad person for that, but I understand. And it's not fair to the kids. It's not fair to the wife. Me, I get it. I created that. But for them, they don't deserve that. It's not their fault and it's not fair. And I owe them a bit of gratitude for enduring that. And I owe them an apology with the utmost sincerity from the deepest parts of my being and my soul and my heart. I should be setting the example of health and well-being for my children to see and to pass on to their families and their children, but I didn't do that. I seen a guy at church, right? And it was so amazing to me. And it's such a watch. When I tell you, you're gonna be like, dang, you're tripping fool. The little boy was like 4 or 5 years old. And in the back of the church, they have little candy dishes. Y'all know what I'm talking about, GCF. And the little boy was with his dad, and the little boy said, Daddy, can I have one of the candies? And Daddy said, yeah, go ahead, grab one. And he said, can I eat it now? Daddy said, you already know you can't have that now. You can't have that until after dinner. And the little boy said, okay, Dad. That little boy knew. That little boy knew what time it was. Why? I'm sure that little boy wasn't born knowing what time it was with that candy. That little boy knew what time it was with that candy because Dad was teaching him discipline, self-control, and good eating habits. And it just melted me, because it's like, that's what we need to be doing with our children. And I didn't do it. You know what memory I have? I remember giving my daughter my big old 7-Up and not paying attention. I just handed it. She wanted to drink. So I gave her my big gulp of Sprite, handed it back to her in the car. And then 5 minutes later, being completely drenched from behind in vomit because she pounded it was like a big gallon jug. She pounded the whole thing and then vomited it up on me and her mom. And it sounds funny, but that's horrible. That's a horrible habit to teach your child. That's a horrible behavior to teach your child. That's a horrible path to a generational curse of addiction to food or other drugs to teach your child. And it deserves me to ask my children to forgive me for not setting a better example of self-control and discipline. Please, I'm begging you to forgive me. I wish I knew then what I know now. If I could go back in time, I would change everything that I did and I would do better. What I am asking you is to allow me to hopefully use this channel to possibly help other people and their families before it's too late. And you receive that as some sort of amends for what I cost you. And I know my children are amazing, beautiful soul people. And they'll get some sort of satisfaction, maybe not everything that they deserve, but they are going to have some sort of restitution out of that. And I hope, Lord willing, my kids depended on me for protection. My kids had to witness me being, the husband that I was to their mother. Like, they had to witness their mom struggle and work every single day to take care of the addict father, when the addict father should have been at a bare minimum working side by side with mom to take care of the entire family. They had to witness that and use that as an example for what a father looks like. And that's a poor example. And my children, please forgive me for giving you such a horrible example, and take it from me. That is not the example that you want to set for your children. If I could go back in time and give you a better example, I promise you I would. But use my words now to understand that it is important for you to be the best man or woman that you can be, and use that example for your children so that they can be the best man or woman that they could be. And if you think or feel like you need to make some changes to be a better person or a better man, just so that your children can see that, you do that with every fiber of your being, because it's important. They depend on those examples. They depend on the training. They depend on those life lessons to be the people that they're going to be. And hopefully they don't have to go through the struggles that my children went through or go through to navigate life without the examples that I should have been for them. Now they've got to learn how to do these things on their own, because I didn't teach them when they were young, when I was supposed to be teaching them. My children didn't have the security of a protector that I think that they should have, because I never could have given them that example that I was their great protector, because I was in prison in my bed for most of my life, or most of their life. They can't possibly think that I'm going to be able to defend them if we were to be out at Disneyland or something like that and something cracks off, or if someone breaks into the house. Forgive me for the many nights that they had to be home alone. They're older, but still teenagers. They had to watch us go to the emergency room. Mom's terrified and upset, and, all the things that they had to endure because of my addiction they didn't sign up for. And I'm going to tell you, like I told your mom, I don't want to say their names. They know who they are. My children, I love you. I'm sorry that I wasn't the father and the man that I was supposed to be. I'm asking you to forgive me, and I'm asking you to accept, like I said, this channel as some sort of amends and some sort of restitution and some sort of example of change and self-control, benefit and betterment in love, out of my love for you. They say, do it for yourself. I say, do it for, I'm doing it for my kids. I'm doing it for my wife. If I was to do anything for myself, I've been doing it for myself my whole entire life. Addiction is a selfish way of living. What do you mean do it for yourself? I've been doing it for myself this whole time. I need to make a change and do right for my children and do right for my wife. Don't do it for yourself. Do it for them. So I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for my wife. I'm doing this for your mom. I'm doing this for my community. I'm doing this for my church. I'm doing this for my God. I'm doing this for you because I love you. And with that being said, like I said in the last video, and the video before that, if you have a family, if you have children, even if you're single, this is my life. This is what I go through. These are the revelations that I've had. These are the convictions that the Holy Spirit has put upon my heart. But if you're in a similar situation and you're living through food addiction or morbid obesity or any addiction, listen to what I'm saying and evaluate your situation and determine whether it's time for you to make a change, and put everything you have into that. And if you need my help, message me. I'll do everything that I can to support and help you in any way that I possibly can. I thank you for watching, and I love you, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.